Hi there and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham and today I'm with Allan Kelly, who's Executive Chairman of Miramar Resources. Now, Allan, you've been very busy, particularly out in your Gidji project out in the Eastern Goldfields there, but I noticed you released a quarterly this morning, and that probably covers quite a bit of the activities you've been up to. So can you just give us a bit of a précis on what's the quarterly's told us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as said, we've been pretty busy. Most of the work we've been doing is out at Gidji, which is just sort of 15 k's north of Kalgoorlie. In the last quarter, we did a second phase Aircore program, which tested a number of the targets. We also did a small diamond program testing the 8 mile target. And then towards the end of the quarter, we did a ground magnetic survey over Marylebone, followed by some RC and Aircore drilling there. And then sort of after the end of the quarter, we've actually started another Aircore program. So I guess what we're seeing at Gidji is that the targets that we generated from the phase 1 program are sort of coherent, expanding. The sort of numbers that we're getting there are pretty consistent from the Aircore drilling. It's still growing. We're actually waiting on some results that sort of suggests that the target is probably open along the northwest and southeast sort of directions. And really, at this stage, we're still just scratching the surface there. We're just doing the Aircore drilling, which is taking us down to about sort of 50, 60 metres, and we're consistently getting mineralisation at the top of the weathered basement underneath the paleo channel, which has made previous exploration difficult. So once we've sort of worked out the size of Marylebone in particular, we want to start testing that at depth to work out whether there's some bedrock mineralisation beneath this Aircore drilling. But so far, we haven't even sort of worked out the edges of this target yet.
I just noticed a week or so ago, you put out an announcement saying that you've upgraded the targets there at Gidji. So is that what you're sort of alluding to? When you say you've upgraded targets, does that mean you're drilling, taking them from something to something else?
Yeah. So when you do Aircore drilling, normally you do 4 metre composite samples, because a lot of the drilling is wide spaced and it's effectively geochemical drilling. And in a lot of cases, you only get 1 or 2 useful samples out of each Aircore hole. So what you do is you do 4 metre composite samples as a first pass. And then if you get anything over maybe 1/4 gram or 1/2 gram, then you go back and you resplit those samples, and you take the 1 metre individual samples from the 4 metre and you re-assay them. And so what you tend to do is you tend to upgrade the numbers. So say if you've got 4 metres at a gram, then that could contain a sample that might be 3 or 4 grams within that. So we've seen that at a number of our targets already. Like we had at Marylebone, the original target that we tested, we got, I think, about 4 metres at 1/2 gram. And then that came back at 2 metres at 7 grams, including a 13 gram hit. We saw that at Piccadilly as well. I think it was a 0.3 gram hit at the end of the hole. And when we went back and did the resplits, we got a 4.5 gram hit. So what we're seeing is the initial sort of 4 metre samples get us in the ballpark, and then we go back and resplit or we infill the drilling, we tend to get higher numbers, and we also tend to expand the footprint of the target as well. So at the moment, Marylebone's about a K and a half long. It's still open to the northwest and to the southeast. And at the moment, it's open at depth because we've only just sort of got that Aircore drilling, which is just touching the top of the weathered basement. So the next step there is to start testing it at depth and try and work out what's going on at depth.
All right. And so obviously, does that entail a different drill rig?
Yeah. So we do half a dozen RC holes at the end of beginning of June, and we're waiting on results from those. But that was it was a bit of an opportunistic program where there was a rig available before it went up to the Pilbara. So we thought, we'll quickly plan up a couple of holes and see what the geology looks like at depth for the first time. So we're waiting on those. Once we sort of get into the systematic testing, it'll be RC and or diamond drilling. We've done pretty much all we can with the Aircore, getting down to that sort of 50, 60 metre depth. From then on, it's RC drilling and or diamond drilling. So obviously the cost goes up. but the information you get is much more useful.
Your other projects in the portfolio, because you're all around the shop really. You're up north, and you've got a fair bit going on. Is there much activity at these other?
Yeah, well, the second main project is our Glandor project, which is about 40 k's east of Kalgoorlie, out near Geelong. We've been pretty keen to get out there as well because there's some really nice historical drilling that's been done there, including a diamond hit of 8 metres at 22 grams beneath some Aircore anomalism. So we had to do heritage permitting and things like that in the first quarter of this year. Second quarter was about getting some geophysics done. And we actually started drilling there last week. So after the end of the quarter, we got an Aircore rig out there, and we've drilled a number of holes at the southern end of the project, south of the lake. About probably 60 or 70% of the project is underneath the salt lake, but there's some drilling on the land at the south end of that, which is pretty interesting. So we thought we'd quickly get out there with the Aircore rig in conjunction with some drilling we were doing at Gidji. So that's just been done, and then hopefully this quarter, sort of August, September, we should get out in the lake for the first time with a lake drilling rig. And really, if you compare the two, Gidji and Glandor, they're pretty similar in terms of size and scale. Gidji's probably in a better location right near Kalgoorlie, but Glandor's actually got better drill results from previous work. So they're both really great projects. Outside of the Eastern Goldfields, the other main thing that we've done is we've been up to our whale shark project, which sits up near Onslow. Basically, there's a large folded biff beneath about 100 metres of cover. When I was working for Western Mining, we drilled a couple of holes there back in the mid-90s and got a bit of gold in that biff, but it's had no work since then. So what we've done is we've gone up and tried some MMI geochemistry, mobile metal ions soil geochemistry, and to see if we can see through that 100 metres of cover. That sampling's been completed. Those samples are in the lab. They're pretty broad spaced. They're about 1 kilometre by 500 metre sampling over this target. So if we get some encouragement from those results, we'll probably go back and do some infill sampling before it gets too hot up there, and then potentially line up some drill targets for testing down the track as well. So, we are mostly focused on the Eastern Goldfields, but we've got a couple of other things that we're working on as well, which is, giving us a lot of upside for our shareholders.
Obviously, very, very, very busy man, but like everybody else, you'll be taking a bit of time out next week to be at Diggers and Dealers. So no doubt we'll catch up, and I'll catch up on all the news Miramar's got to tell us there, and hopefully you might have a bit more to tell us so that we can bring to our viewers and readers here at the Resources Roadhouse. But until next time, Allan Kelly, thanks for popping in again, and we look forward to seeing you here again in the near future.
Great. Thanks, Wally.